Hi, everyone. Oh my God, I'm trying to go live on 3, 2, 1. Boom. Yes. Hi, everybody. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon. So, of course, it's time for Ask Dr. Lulu. How's my makeup? Is anybody there? All right. Yeah. So, just so you know, it usually takes a whole production. If you don't know this, just know it now. It usually takes an entire production. So bear with me. My birds are in the background. We have parakeets. And so they don't want to shut up. Once I start talking, they start talking. So hi, Elise. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Bridget, Sabari, and Spunky Sylvia. We're going to get started. Okay, we have a lot to cover today. So hello, everybody. If you don't know me yet, my name is Dr. Lulu. I'm a board-certified pediatrician, best-selling author, and national keynote speaker on bullying, depression, and suicide in children, teens, and young adults. And if you know me, if you've been following me, you know that I will kill. Makeup is fine. Thank you, Alice. I will kill, no pun intended, or is it pun intended, for someone who says one thing about a child who is depressed and or suicidal. So if you say anything negative, I'm going to get you. That's the only time I'll be physical and violent. Yes, I will. And so I'm really charged today because in the past 1 week in Nigeria, there have been a total of, my makeup is good, you sure, baby girl? There have been a total of 5 teen and young adult suicides in Nigeria. And if you know me, you know I speak on hot topics that affect teens and young adults and kids. And so I was going to talk about school shooting, and then that came and went. I didn't get a chance to do it. But since the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month, it doesn't get any better than that. So maybe next week, if nothing crazy happens, I might talk about school shootings. But as these things happen, I kind of just go with the flow. So thank you all so much for joining me. If you're Nigerian and you're out there, give me a thumbs up, give me a high five. We're about to talk about Niger folks today, okay? And if you're non-Nigerian, thank you so much for supporting the cause. There's BC, one Nigerian, there's Emeka, another Nigerian, Adeze, another Nigerian. Fantastic. So y'all give me a high five if you're Nigerian and you're watching me. We're about to talk about our people today. And so if you don't know me, my wife claims that I speak with an American accent, but I know I have a Nigerian accent. I try to keep it. So if you don't know me yet, I am Nigerian born. Okay, so in the past, I've spoken about suicide in American teens, Indian teens, Australian teens, but today I'm talking about my people. My brother said I did here. Oh, yes. Nigerians are watching me. Fantastic. Y'all give me a high five. Give me a hello. And if you're watching this on a replay, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're Nigerian and give me a high five. Okay, let's get started. My mom is in the building, so we can now finally officially start. I generally is Nigerian. This is great. Lots of Nigerians in the building, so let's get started. So I was just saying that I've spoken about Australian teens and American teens and Indian teens. And so why not Nigerian teens and Nigerian youth? And so we begin, as we should always begin, with a 40-second silence. 40 seconds of silence. As you all know, according to the WHO, every 40 seconds, someone takes their life. And so for the length of time you've been watching me, if it's been over 40 seconds, more than one person has died. So let us, in the name of everything good, and in the name of mental health, and in the name of suicide, the brand new Black Death, let us take 40 seconds of silence for all those who've lost to suicide, beginning now. Thank you. Muchísimas gracias. Je vous remercie. Ndibaye kenemuno. àwọn gbogbo ènìyàn mi mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín o. Dukan kumutane na nagode muku. So that's Hausa, Igbo, English, thank you, French, and of course, Spanish. All of the many languages that I speak. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I'm going to say what we're talking about today is suicide in Nigerian youth. What's the 411? What is the information? What's going on? What a guan, people? That's Jamaican I speak, okay? And so, my very first contact with suicide on a personal level was in the year 2000. I want to say in May of 2000. My very, very good friend, her name is or was Ngozi. She and I did, not internship, but we both worked at Echo Hospital together. We were both housemen. So we did a housemanship at Echo Hospital together. She was a year ahead of me, I want to say. And we both found ourselves in America about the same time. And one Sunday afternoon, I got back from Mass. She had been on my mind for very long. And so I decided, let me call Ngozi and see how she's doing, So I picked up the phone and called. And a 16-year-old teenage cousin of hers who picked up the phone said to me, "Oh, Auntie Ngozi blew her brains out last week," or something like that. The 16-year-old said that to me. "Auntie Ngozi blew her brains out last week," or something like that. I can't remember if it was last week or a month, whatever. "She's not here because she blew her brains out," something like that. And I was exactly 5.5 months pregnant with my second son, my numero dos son. And that put me into preterm labor, people of the world. No, 7.5, because he came at 7.5 months, yes. 7.5 months pregnant with my second son. And that put me into premature labor. So the little boy was born early because a friend of mine had died by suicide. She literally put a gun to her head, a Nigerian female friend of mine. I couldn't get to her on time. I couldn't stop her. And so that happened. Fast forward 8 years later, my first patient died by suicide. All of you who know my story, you know his name is Miguel. And he came in with depression. I diagnosed him with moderate to severe depression. I counseled his mother. She said no, she wasn't going to have it as far as counseling and medication went. And in July of that year, July 4th to be exact, in front of the entire family, he put a double-barrel shotgun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. So one of them was Nigerian, one was not Nigerian. And so when I speak for everybody, Nigerians and non-Nigerians alike. But today, I'm talking about only Nigerians. So if you're just joining me, the topic today is suicide in Nigerian youth. What's the 411? Part 1, actually, okay? So that's my little background. So majority of Nigerian youth who have been dying by suicide compared to American youth who have been dying by suicide are relatively older. So I found that Nigerian youth usually are in college, usually are early college, maybe late high school, but mostly they're in college. So they're early 20s. So please, if you're watching me, type in Nigerian youth versus American youth. Nigerian youth tend to be older, tend to be in college, tend to be young adults, whereas American youth tend to be much younger, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15. So please type it down for me if you're watching and you're listening. Who versus who? Nigerian youth tend to be much, much older than the American youth when it comes to suicide. But anyhow you look at it, the numbers are 160,000 per year. Please, somebody, please write it down for me. 160,000 youth below the age of 25 per year die by suicide. Nigeria, my birth country, happens to be number 15 worldwide. Number 15. Someone please write down Nigeria is number 15 when it comes to suicide. These are facts and figures we're talking about now. Actually, we're going to talk about 3 things. Facts and figures. Who are these people? We're going to put some names and hopefully some faces when I'm done. And of course, what should you do today? That's what we're going to talk about today when it comes to Nigerian youth and suicide. There's Ellis, my girl, forever my right-hand woman. Nigerian youth tends to be older. 160,000 of children under the age of 25 die by suicide every year. Nigeria, number 15 worldwide. But in the big, fantastic, fabulous continent of Africa, Nigeria is number 7. You want to know who's number 1? Mozambique. So I guess that's a topic for the near future, right? Mozambique is number 1 in Africa for suicide of youth. Well, I think suicide, period. Unati, thank you. So the rate of suicide in Nigerian youth is rising at the speed of light. I put that light. The bottom line is it is rising and rising very fast. Nigerian youth and suicide rising very fast. Now, Nigerian youth in America and Nigerian youth suicide compared to American youth suicide, the children who are dying by suicide in Nigeria, men versus women or males versus females, tend to be almost equal. They tend to be almost equal. They're 17.5 for men and 17.1 for females, for women. Now, the shocking thing about that is when you put it in context of the whole world, Nigerian men rank 56th in the world for suicide. Does anybody listening to me want to know what Nigerian women rank in the world in suicide? Nigerian women rank number 3. Does anybody hear what I'm saying out there? I am a Nigerian woman. I have been depressed, and yes, I have been suicidal. Do you hear what I'm saying? Nigerian women are numero 3 in the world. Nigerian men and Nigerian women almost toe to toe. And when I call the names, you will see what I'm talking about. Nigerian men are 56 in the world. Nigerian women are number 3 in the world. Somebody please type it down. Mental health issues tend to be the forefront when it comes to suicide in Nigerian youth. American youth, who knows what the number 1 cause of suicide? If you've been listening to me, you know. In Nigerian youth, is it mental health? No. Bullying. As you all know me, I love to talk about bullying because bullying is number 1 in American youth. Mental health, depression, and stuff number 2. However, bullying, of course, eventually leads to depression and therefore suicide. But bullying in America, mental health, mental illness in Nigeria. So Nigerian youth tend to have mental illness. Now, when I say mental illness, I keep saying mental illness. You know why? Because, of course, you guessed right. Mental illness in Nigeria, as in almost all over the world, is still a taboo. No one wants to talk about it. I have never, in my 50 years of life, seen a country where, really the whole world, where people are punished. There's a gentleman in Nigeria who was put in jail for attempted suicide. I lost it when I read that. Like seriously, like it's his fault. And no wonder we still call it commit. So one of the things I'm going to talk about today is why we should never use the word commit. If you're watching me, never, ever say the word commit suicide anymore. I'll tell you what you can say. But no one talks about commit suicide. No one that knows me should ever say the word commit suicide again. I will tell you what we say. Taboo, therefore, is the underlying factor why these children, majority of them, are taking their lives. The taboo of mental illness. Did anybody watching me know that in 2017, the WHO, aka our Global Health Monitor, named taboo or stigma of mental health as a global health crisis? Get this right. Not the mental health. Not the mental health. or mental illness. I keep saying mental health, but you know what I'm talking about. Not the mental illness, but the stigma behind mental illness as a global health crisis. Because we all pretend, like my mom said, high five, my mom said, village people are always the witches that kill them. No one dies of any kind of health problems in Nigeria. No one dies of any kind of anything. It's always the mother-in-law came to visit last week. The sister-in-law cooked for them 2 weeks ago. He was well yesterday and he's dead today. It must be his friend at work. It must be because he got promoted at work last year. It must be. Never is it the headache he's been having that he hasn't gotten checked. Never is it the chest pain he's been having that he never got checked. Never is it the fact that she's been sad and depressed and suicidal anyway. No one talks about that. But yes, it's juju. Yes, it's witchery or witchcraft. Yes, it's got to be somebody that did something. And I have family members. Yes, I said it. Who go to church every day. We're going to talk about that another day. Who go to church on one hand, and on the other hand, they're all about their ikenga. They're all about their witchcraft and their babalawo. So who are you kidding? Who are you fooling? Who's fooling who? Check yourself. Check yourself. Ignorance. Number 6. As one of the facts and figures, ignorance has been mentioned at the helm of affairs. Of course. Because if you don't know anything and you don't want to know it, guess what? You will never know it. You will never know it. My father used to tell me that when I was young. He said, if you don't know something and you don't want to know it, you will never know it. IG, ignorance. Ignoramus, big time. Ignorance, underlying factor. Because mental health in Nigeria is like, no, nobody gets mental health problems. What are you talking about? You're lazy, or you're selfish, or you're weak. Oh, honey, we're going to talk about it today. So lack of resilience and also increased hopelessness on the part of the children, the teenagers, the youth dying of suicide. Hopelessness, lack of resilience, because one thing that I talk about in my book, for those of you who know that I'm a best-selling author, boom. One of the things I talk about, one of the things I teach is resilience. The need for learning how to be kind, kindness, compassion, empathy. Missing in the world that we live in today. Completely gone. Nobody's talking about them anymore. So I've talked about the fact that male versus female numbers are almost identical in Nigeria. That should give you a cause for concern. Why? Why will a woman who is happy, who wants to wait for the day that she's going to get married, walk down the famous aisle, like I like to call it, why would she want to kill herself? Why will a young man who has his whole world in front of him, who can live happily ever after, want to kill himself? You want to know why? Well, I have the answers for you. When it comes to women, Nigeria is the numero uno patriarchal society of the world. If you don't know what patriarchal is, look it up. Women are we're less than the pets in Igbo land, for instance. Women are considered property. In Hausa land, oh, I'll just marry you at 11. What do you know? You're stupid. Get behind wife number 4. Yoruba land, same thing. Maybe a bit even better in Yoruba land, maybe. But not in Igbo land, and definitely not in Hausa land. Come and get me, I said it. Somebody has to say these things, because it's true and it happens. And if you're Nigerian, you know it. You know I'm speaking the truth. Women are not educated. The girl child has 0 to none education as far as Nigeria is concerned. Why do you want to educate that girl and waste your money when she should be bringing you money through bride price as a wife material? Why do you want to educate your child? People like my father who said their kids are going to go all the way to the top, daughter or son. They cut hell. My father cut hell for sending his daughters to school. And if you know that I just graduated yesterday from my MBA, booyah, because I'm black and educated. And I want to put G there somewhere. Beige, black and educated girl, whatever, I don't know. You know, you gotta get educated. Africa is also guilty for patriarchy. America is just as guilty. Hashtag inequality in paychecks. So don't think you're exempt. It's just your own, might be a little bit different. Africa, number 1. America, just as bad. Yes, we might be getting educated here, but if you push me to the Amish, hint, hint, you push me to the Mormons, so yes, it's in America. So don't be thinking that you guys are exempt either. But I'm African and I'm Nigerian. I want to talk about Nigeria today. So I mentioned earlier on that less than that any kid that 160,000 of those dying under the age of 25, per year. Yes, that's the number. I think I mentioned that. I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying. Now, let me say something about that 40-second silence that we had at the beginning. Do you know that according to the WHO, by the year 2020, does anybody know what that number is going to be? That number, my friends, is going to be every 20 seconds. Do you know why it's every 20 seconds? Because majority of suicides, even in America, are not being reported. Majority of suicides are not being recorded. They're not being reported. For every one suicide you hear about, I'm here to tell you that there are probably 10 attempts and maybe even 10 that succeeded. I have numbers on that, but we're not talking about that today, but I do have numbers on that. Indeed, we're just looking at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the real true number of suicide victims that we have. Yes, they are victims. They are not perpetrators. They did not hurt you as far as trying to have you die with them. It's a whole nother issue. But what you're not going to do to me is what I read on the Facebook pages of all those boys and girls that I'm going to talk about in a minute. The kind of vile negativity that came out of these Christians and Muslims and humans. And one of the boys, actually the first one I'm going to talk about, he wrote on his suicide note, "There is no humanity in humans." What a powerful set of words. There is no humanity in humans. When you're supposed to be kind to someone, you're mean to them. There's no compassion, he wrote. And I agree with him. No kindness at all. We're just out to get each other. Choke, crabs in a barrel. Someone has to talk about it. If you're just joining me, we're talking about suicide in Nigerian youth. In Nigerian youth. What is the 411? Part 1. That's what we're talking about today. And so do you know that, can you imagine if all the suicides that were taking place were really kind of counted? It's going to be like one every second. And don't even talk to me about suicide attempts. And so please, if anybody watching me knows this lady, let me just put her name out there. I'm trying to find her. Her name is Hawa Ojefo. I already sent a message to her page. Please holla at your girl. Let me know if anybody knows Miss Hawa Ojefo. She is doing things when it comes to mental health and especially with women and suicide. You know why? Because she was suicidal. That's why I speak. That's my why. What's yours? What are you doing sitting down on the fence, criticizing and talking junk about people who died by suicide? Do you really think that if they were happy, they would want to die? Are you kidding me? What is wrong with the world today? Take a moment. I didn't even post it on my page. I never posted it on my page because the kind of hatred that was spewing out of these people that were writing these comments, I could not handle it. I shook my head in shock and also shame and empathy for these empty vessels that are cursing out people that died by suicide, talking all kinds of junk about them. And then tomorrow they're going to dress up, go to church, and pray to who? Bullshit! Don't give me that nonsense. Get behind me, you and your satanic ways, because there is no way you can see someone. You just need to take a minute and read the comments from Nigerian Youth. Let me tell you something. Depression is an equal opportunity disease. If you don't know me, wait. If you don't believe me, rather wait. Because the next person that dies of suicide, it may not be you, but it might be your brother. It might be your sister, or it might even be your child. So while you're busy judging those people that died by suicide, wait long enough. Wait long enough. Okay, so we talked about the numbers, and I'm sorry, I'm pissed because of the fact that I saw what people were writing on the Facebook page of these people that died. One particular boy had over 1,500 followers on his Facebook page. For the past 1 month, he's been crying for help, screaming for help, asking somebody He didn't say the words, but he wrote it. He's a poet and a literary agent and just a smart kid altogether, first class student in UNN. And if you don't know what first class is, that's like a summa cum laude type thing. He was writing all kinds of dark stuff on his page. People will read it, like it, thumbs up it, and then he dies. You know what? Now we have 8.6 thousand comments. Yes, over 900 shares after he died. Let me tell you guys, the hypocrisy is too much for me. It is too much for me. It is too much for me. I can't take it. And if you're watching me and you're one of those, say a prayer for yourself today, because that is one of the things I can't even believe what I was seeing. People talking junk about someone who is already dead. And so let's look at some names. Let's look at some names. So the first name I have for you guys today, in 2019, this guy just recently graduated from college. His name is Adekunle Olanrewaju. You don't have to write it down. But when I say his name, please type in RIP. If you have your computer, you have your phone, type in rest in peace for me. Sleep in heaven. They're the only two things I want you to type. Don't give me any comments. Don't give me anything. Just write rest in peace or rest in heaven for me. Adekunle Olanrewaju, February 2019. He drank something called Sniper. His last text message was, "Goodbye. My dead body will be inside the bamboo." Apparently there was an area in his neighborhood where they had bamboo trees, and he sat under one of them and drank Sniper. We'll talk about that later. He said, "Goodbye. My dead body will be inside bamboo." These are his words. Miss Aisha Omolara, an ABU student. I went to ABU. That's my alma mater. She blamed her mother. We're going to talk about that. It's one of the causes. We're going to talk about that. That's a girl and a boy. Mr. Sheun Omogaji. He was a DJ called DJ XG in Lagos. He asked his folks, you know what he did? He said, and I quote, "Rock white at my funeral." Because he said, because I love that color. He said, "Rock white. That's the man after my heart." Because nobody's wearing black to my funeral. My will says clearly, wear bright colors. Because if you know me, I live my life out loud. I'm wearing black today because of what we're talking about. Write rest in heaven for me, or write rest in peace for me, please. If you're watching and you're listening and you can type. Miss Lovette, that's all they mentioned. She was 18 years old. She had done poorly in her JAMB grades. So JAMB is like an entrance exam. For those who don't know, going into university, she didn't do well. And she killed herself as a result. That's a girl. So boy, girl, boy, girl. Mr. Prince, first name and only name, Prince, had a misunderstanding with his girlfriend, another cause of death. Please type in rest in peace or sleep in heaven or rest in heaven if you're watching me and you can type. Mr. Oruna Efemana. It might be Igbo. Efemena. I'm not sure how to say it, but anyway, he was a pharmacy student. He had poor grades. And guess what? He drank some of that Sniper, which we're going to talk about maybe next week. Miss Slimzy J had broken up with her boyfriend and happened to be pregnant. She killed herself. I don't have an age, but I think she might have been late teens. Rest in peace. Thank you, Mom. Mr. Akachi Chukwuemeka, that's the boy that I was talking about, who was a first class, aka summa cum laude. He's my tribe. He's Igbo. He just died last week by suicide. He's the one that kind of got me talking about this. And he's the one I'm talking about his page, how now all of a sudden he has 8.6 thousand comments. That is hypocrisy at its best. I'm not going to be part of that. But I will put his news out. I'll tell people about him because I can. His name is Akachi Chukwuemeka. Look him up. Miss Mercy Afolarinwa. Yes, Afolarin me. Uh-oh, I'm running out of juice. Hold on, guys. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. If you've ever doubted if these things are shot live, now you know. 1 second. If you want to plug in my baby. Okay, we're good to go. Thank you so much for tolerating that. Yes, let me see. Oh, goodness. It's not charging for some reason. 1 second, okay? Okay, we're back to business. We're back in business. I'm not sure why it's not charging. Okay, it is now. Okay, let's hope it's going to hold until I'm done. So anyway, so that was Miss Mercy Afolarin Me. She was 16. She got an E in one of her school tests. And that's funny because she was the youngest one that I could find. As far as a Nigerian youth suicide was concerned, she was the youngest that I could find. Her name is Miss Mercy Afolarin Me. There was a pastor last week, Pastor Michael Arowa Sheye, okay. Pastor Michael, he was a pastor and he was having financial problems. You need to read the comments on this gentleman's page. You have to. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. The kind of negativity. Oh my God. Anyway. Adiba Daniel, a male. Omo Jola Ogun D Yay in UK. Awal Haruna, a law student. Onyebuchi Okonkwo, 300 level. The 300 level is like the junior in college, okay? Those who don't know. Wilson Chukwudi, my middle son's name, failed grades. Adams, just Adams, a final year computer engineering student. So anyway, I gave you about 16 names that I could come up with. I mean, there are many, many more. In fact, one of the blogs I read said there are scores of people. They're not recorded because it's Nigeria and, you know, it has to be hidden and it should not be talked about. And we don't even get mentally ill at all. We're special people. So what's the fuss, you know? So if you're just joining me, which I think we have one person, I think it was Rachel and Johnny Witherspoon, I'm talking about Nigerian youth and suicide. What's the 411 part 1? And so it's already 30 minutes. We have to go. So 5 things I want you all to stop today, your action items. And I need someone to please type it in for me. 5 things I need you all to stop today. If you are in Nigeria and you have rat poison called sniper, take it out of your house right now. Leave my Facebook Live. Go and find it and throw it away where the sun don't shine. Throw it away. It's called sniper. If you're in Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about. We'll talk about sniper next week, a little bit more details. Go to where it is hiding right now. Take it and please, in the name of anything good, Jesus, Allah, Eledumare, whoever you, Ikenga, go and put it in the trash or throw it away. Don't put it in the trash. I don't know what you're going to do with it, but take it from your house. I guess the trash, they're going to incinerate. We're going to talk about that next, because that seems to be the choice source of the choice route of death for most of these Nigerian youth. Take it from your house right now. Number 2, stop criticizing and mocking anyone you hear about who died by suicide or who is suicidal or who is depressed or anxious or who has mental illness. Stop today mocking that person or criticizing that person. No mass. Stop it today. Stop the myths. Stop the myths about suicide. Stop the myths. Depression and suicide. Depression is not a white man's disease. It affects Black people. Just like skin cancer is not a white man's disease, it affects Black people. Depression is not a white man's disease. Depression is equal opportunity. Stop today with that stupid myth that doesn't mean anything. Number 2, stop saying depression is not real. It's just a matter of time. My mom just said, sniper killed one of her dogs a month ago. Mom, stop watching this thing right now. I'm going to put that thing in the trash. It's an order. Please. Oh my God, he killed one of the dogs. Oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. But that's what I'm talking about. Please don't keep that thing in your home. We will talk about sniper next week. You don't want to miss next week's. We're going to talk about sniper. It's not a woman's disease. Depression is not a woman's disease. It doesn't only affect women. As you've seen from the names I called, equal opportunity, almost toe-to-toe, men and women in Nigeria, which is kind of rare. Most countries, men had that number. In Nigeria, my beloved country, men and women equally affected by suicide. It needs to be looked into. For lack of a better term, it needs to be looked into. Y'all, if you're a Christian, a Muslim, an atheist, I don't bloody care. You cannot pray depression away, y'all. You cannot. This is coming from a doctor. You cannot pray depression away. What you could do is pray for a good doctor, supportive family members, not quack medication, okay? You cannot pray depression away, okay? Another myth. Medications do not make you worse when you take medicines for depression. Your antidepressants do not make you worse. I don't care what you believe. They're antidepressants. They don't make you more depressed. Now, they have other side effects that we can talk about later. But antidepressants are not going to make your depression worse. Not getting the right medication, not getting the right diagnosis. There are many, many things. But the antidepressants, my people, my educated fellow people, does not make your depression worse. Stop blaming people that have died by suicide. First of all, you Christians, you know that you should not blame, you should not say anything negative about the dead, no matter how they died. You don't know any better. You are not there. No matter how much you think you knew them, you are not them. I have walked this talk that I'm talking about. Stop the ignorance. Oh my God. Please educate yourself. Educate, educate, educate. When you don't know something, try to know about it first before you start giving your own unsolicited opinion. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Okay. What are the symptoms of? Well, I think number 6 was, yes, number 6 is stop today using the word commit suicide. I have not used that word today. You can have a whole talk as evidenced by today's own without saying the word commit. There's no crime being committed when somebody dies by suicide, which is the olden days thinking. You don't use commit suicide. Believe it or not, you can say suicided, which I choose not to because it just sounds kind of weird. But what I have said over and over again today is died by suicide. You can say took his or her own life. You can say ended their life. But please don't say committed suicide. Please, somebody write it down. I don't see anybody writing anything, or maybe I'm just not, is that what it is? Oh, sorry. All right, I think. Somebody please write that do not today, tata, today, oi. I don't know how to say it today in Yoruba. La roni, something today. Stop saying committed suicide. If you don't know what to say, don't say anything. First, do no harm. That's my Hippocratic oath. But don't say committed suicide. Say died by suicide. You can say, believe it or not, suicided, ended their life, took their own life. But what I don't want you to do, I wouldn't say I would rather you say committed than not say anything at all, because that's two wrongs that don't make it right. But what I don't want you to do is hide it. Pretend it didn't happen. Walk away that, oh, well, it's not me. Let me tell you something. What happens to the soldier who runs away from war? They live to fight another day. It's coming. And if the WHO is telling us it's going to be every 20 seconds by the year 2020, we got a problem, people. We got a big problem. I'm going to read this one out. We must approach suicide from an angle of compassion. The definition of compassion is empathy plus the willingness to help. Empathy is not better than compassion. Compassion trumps empathy any day, because empathy means I feel your pain, but compassion means I feel your pain and I want to help you. That's my choice, compassion. So I approach suicide and probably mental illness, depression, bipolar disorder from an angle of compassion, knowledge, and awareness. Knowledge is sort of awareness, but I feel like awareness is like a bigger picture, and then knowledge is just maybe like the deets, however you want to comprehend it. Okay? Remember that depression is an equal opportunity illness, and it might not be you today, but the next person that dies by suicide might be your sibling, your child, your best friend, your co-worker. And let me tell you, just in case you don't know, when somebody dies by suicide, many of us die with them. That's a life that's cut short. That's a life that didn't get a chance. I'm not going to get depressed. I'm not going to get tearful. But I want you, if you're watching me today, if you've heard anything I've said today has made sense, please share this video. There are more than 50 of you watching. I want this video shared 50 times, because y'all can. You have the power to make a difference, to stand up and speak. Okay, I'm standing up and I'm speaking. Share my video, let somebody else hear me speaking. It's not enough, oh, you're doing such good things. I mean, I hear that all the time, and I appreciate that. That's all well and good. But only one gong can only make so much noise. We need to make bigger, louder noise. And for that, we need many, many gongs. And so that's all I have for y'all today. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit more about part 2 of suicide in Nigerian youth. What's the 411? You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. And so before I go, next month, the month of June, yes, yours truly is going to be on the same stage as Miss Chimamanda, the just famous, I'm in awe of her, Chimamanda Adichie, another Nigerian Amazon, who is also Black and educated and doing things. Okay, so look out for that. Next week, we're going to talk about part 2 of suicide in Nigerian youth. And before you all leave, please let me just take a moment to say thank you. You know how I am. I got to say thank you. Miss Sita Bergui said, love and respect is the force that moves the universe. Reach out and have the conversation. Yes. And that's why I say I would light the spark, but you got to keep the fire burning. I can only do so much. I will light this. Don't worry about it. I will light the spark. I will start the conversation. But I need you to continue. Don't stop at, oh, Dr. Lulu, you're doing things bigly. That's fine. I need you to keep the things biggerly. Okay? So she's right. We all need to faith, friends, family, and something food. Be kind. Yes, I agree. So please don't say commit anymore. Thanks, Ms. Thing. Maria Chika Asogwa Okichuku, thank you so much for joining in. Wanene Okeze, thank you for joining in. Miss Sita, great advice, Doc. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wanene, stop mocking or criticizing anyone that, yes. And then she wrote committed suicide, but I'll forgive her because she wrote it before I said stop saying commit. Wanene, I know you meant well, so you're good. Johnny Witherspoon, thank you for joining me today. Unati, thank you so much, Miss Makiwena. I will be with you in Canada by the grace of God. Penny Smith, thank you for joining me. Juliet Mbegu, OBGJP, well done, sister. Thank you. Ellis, congratulations. Thank you on my graduation. Yes, ma'am. Rachel Mugibe says, ha 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 to Babalao. Es verdad. I mean, it's true. It's what they do. They go to church and then they turn around and go to the Babalao. I mean, I don't get it, but it's what happens. Rachel, you know the funny thing? They find something in their Bible to justify their behavior. To me, that's the worst part. Rachel Mugibe, thank you for joining me. I will see you in East Africa very soon. Ngozi Tokes, also, thank you for joining me, my literal agent. Navea Patek, thank you so much for joining me today. Bridget Lyles, my girl, I missed you in Lancaster. I don't know what happened. Thank you for joining me. Ike General, thank you for joining me, and Ellis. And of course, Jessica Jones joined. Hi, girl, how are you? Long time. Spunky Sylvia, Jacqueline Smith, Shokefe Jamal, Okuchi Chima Agbara, Felicia Sumner, hey, Doc. Chrissy Navea, hey, Doc. My brother, Chris, thank you for coming for my graduation. My mom, Toots Barnes, Carolyn Ridd, Kemi Ola Fusi Akin Riola. Thank you for joining me. Give me a wave. My mom wrote my notes. Thank you so much. Kiera Harris, thank you so much, girl. My mom, thank you for joining me. Johnny Witherspoon, thank you for joining me. Tyros Brevard, my patient, thank you for joining me. Marion Miles, thank you for joining me. Sholanda Asbell, thank you for joining me. And my mom said all the RIPs in the world. Thank you so much. Martin Zaligwe, ooh, thank you for joining me, my cousin. Samaila Bello, my classmate from med school. Thank you so much for joining me. My mom says, please don't talk about mental illness so that our youth in the family can get married. Oh, as the saying goes, oh, my mom, that's funny. I didn't read that. My mom said, please don't talk about mental health mental illness in our family so that our youth can get married. Exactly. Oh my God, that is so funny. Unati, hey girl. Alera Simene, hi. Unati, of course, my mom. Parinda Parit, hi. Nedum Chichel, my cousin, thanks to God for your topic. It came at the right time. The rate of suicide among our youth these days is alarming and disturbing. I don't think it's only depression. That is the cause. May God continue to strengthen you. Thank you so much, my cousin. And of course, lots of other comments, but I'm just trying to say so I can leave. Nonye Emene, my senior from high school, thank you for joining me. Nedum is my cousin with whom I'm very well pleased. Kelly Moore, hi. Michelle, my girl, thank you for joining me. Uju, my cousin, thank you for joining me. I had a lot of Nigerians and a lot of Africans really joining me today. Yinka Ogunjuigbe, hey girl, thank you for joining me. Ike General, I want to say you're my cousin. I'm still not sure about that. Thank you for joining me. Kira Stewart. And of course, my brother KRS1, with whom I'm very, very well pleased. Omuibat and Emeka and Jackie Martinez and Adeze Chigo. Ife Zulike, His Royal Minus, Her Royal Majesty Chinyere Mooms, hi, Bridget Lyle, Sandy Mandel, Spunky Sylvia, Sabari Sentil. Look at, thank you all so much for joining me. If my topic today resounded in any which way, the best way to show me is to share it, okay? This is not for me. This is for everyone. This is for all of us. And I will keep it real. I will definitely keep it 100%. No mincing words. So thank you all so much. I will see you next Sunday. We're going to talk about part 2 of suicide in Nigerian youth. What's the 411? Kipasa, so what's going on? All right, folks, I gotta go. I'm supposed to be shooting a commercial or something. So I gotta go. I'm wearing my black dress, my Michael Kors black dress today for my topic, but also for the shooting. So thank you all so much. I'll see you soon. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. And please, please share this video. I want to see all those names shared. Okay? Thank you. Bye.